Hello everyone and welcome to the second episode of Anderson's Axis, where I take a look at the goings on within the GPVWC and talk to the people behind the action that has been going on this month. So, episode 2, how are we going to start it? Well, we're going to start it with the career ladder pre-season tests, and where else to start than the Formula Challenge? It may be the lowest rung on the career ladder, but that by no means there is the lowest amount of talent, and to prove that, we have none other than Menno Klont with us as our first guest.
Hey, Josh.
Great to have you with us, Menno. So, you were in the Formula Challenge pre-season test the other day, and you managed to get yourself third in the timesheet, which is pretty good.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome, actually, to be in third. Of course, it's difficult after you've been in GPV for some years to know where you are competing with new people, and it was good to see at least at the pre-season test. I was quite at the front, of course. You always hope to be at the front, but yeah, the pre-season test is the first feeling you get with the competition. You will face during the season. So I was quite happy if this will turn out to be like this in Australia. That will be would be quite good.
Yeah, I can imagine you'd be pretty happy with third place as well, given that Formula Challenge isn't really the biggest hotbed for you. You're more known for your Supercup exploits. So what's it like actually going down a level on the ladder? Because it's not a move that many people expected.
Yeah, well, personally, I did it because Supercup last year was really difficult for me because it was on Air Factor 2 and I had a lot of problems. And of course, there was so much talent last year in Supercup. And yeah, I decided to go to FC this year because I wanted to look what I could do here. And yeah, I think I did the right thing and everything looked quite well. And yeah. That was more or less it, and I'm racing some well-known names and some of my friends like Terence Greg and Roy Scholz and more of my friends. So I'm pretty happy to do that as well.
Yeah, and it seems to have been a decent step for you as well, with you being so high in the timesheets. Has it given you a renewed focus for the GPVWC? Has it given you another drive to succeeding? And Kasuga, as he said, wasn't a very good series for you last year, but maybe being in Formula Challenge with a brand new car, brand new surroundings, do you think it's going to help you?
Yeah, I actually think it will help me because I actually really like the FC car, and yeah, I think I still got it to at least compete at the front. At least my body and mind wants to compete at the front in FC. If I manage that, we will see that. But there is a big drive now for me to. I'm really motivated to still go for those top places, and that's something I'm really feeling in FC again after 3 years in Super Cup, like a step down, but excitement is still there. So yeah, I think this step did bring a lot of motivation.
It is a vastly different car to the 2015 and 2016 spec Formula Challenge cars as well. Obviously, 2015 was held on R Factor 1, then 2016 we moved to the Williams Formula 2 car, but 2017 has been vastly revised. We've got a brand new naturally aspirated V6 engine in there. It's not obviously turbocharged like last year's, and largely simplified setup options as well. So that has got to be an experience in its own right. Have you tested the 2016 car and compared it to this one?
Well, I of course last year tested the 2016 car, but to be fair, I never drove it on the limit like I can do now with the 2017 car. So I actually can't compare those two. But for the rest, yeah, what I heard is that setup options are simplified, so it's more easier to set it up, and and they hope to get close racing, and that's something I'm searching as well. I might not be the one with the best qualifying lap, but I feel when battling other people, I can still, well, I can battle pretty good. Of course, people can pass me if they are just doing well. But yeah, it feels like that's why I returned as well, because I really think like battling wise, I can still do it as well, and I think the whole simplifying of the setup will help a lot of people to get close into that group and maybe get a win.
Yeah, I'm sure that this season, with all the changes we had, is going to be a very interesting one. Some good points brought forward by yourself there. I can't let you go in this interview without asking you about the GPVWC Academy team, of course, because you, as obviously you're the team manager of Adonis Engineering, but this is something that you're taking on the side as well. And you had the Open Series last year to really help feed talent into that, but we don't have the Open Series this year in 2017. And of course, the Academy team has moved into 2-car entry rather than a 1-car entry. So, as someone who was so behind the Open Series, the drive for new talent is still important, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's still important, and academy academy team helps really a lot to give new talent the chance to get in. But yeah, at least for Australia, I'm not sure if academy will field any drivers, because the philosophy behind the academy car is that you need to have new talent, or at least people who want to drive going into that car. And now I know we've got some teams with we still need to sign one driver or maybe two. So I said to those team managers already, like, if you need somebody and I signed somebody at academy and you desperately need him, I will not lie in the way, and I can always release talent to the real teams instead of academy, if that helps the new teams, well, yeah, doing something. But yeah, of course the push is to have two cars from academy in Australia, and yeah, of course I think that we will manage. But yeah, we shall see what will happen. We can see some guys just jump out of academy just a few days before the race because they got a contract elsewhere, and that's how it should be, because academy only can provide 1 or 2 race weekends at a time, and yeah, a real team can provide a permanent seat for the rest of the season.
Well, it's a very nice attitude to have, Menno. I mean, as the, it's good to hear that you're trying to promote new talent as the head of the academy team. It's exactly what we're looking for, and it's great that we have this initiative, isn't it, for the new talent? And just one more question before you go, Menno, and it's the same question I'm going to be asking to our other guests today. Then, obviously we've had the Formula Challenge pre-season test, we've had the Super League pre-season test, and now we've had the Supercup pre-season test as well. So with pretty much all the pre-season testing out of the way, looking up and down the entire of the rosters, is there anyone, and I want you to give me one name in each category here, who do you think has been not necessarily the best driver, but, the most interesting to watch and see how they've done in the pre-season tests in all of Super League, Formula Challenge and Super Cup?
Oh, then you asked me something. Well, yeah, from the FC, of course, one guy jumps out, and that's Maciej. I think Maciej Mlynek from Poland. He is really good, and yeah, he shot that last year, and I think over the winter he didn't lose any of his speed, and I think Maciej will be a force to look at FC. And yeah, of course he topped the preseason test yesterday. But yeah, he is really good. He's got everything a champion in FC would need. But yeah, there can be more people, of course, battling for the title. But yeah, I think Maciej might be ready for it. And yeah, going to Super Cup. Yeah, who should I? Yeah, it's difficult to say who will go well there. It's. I think Wopke Hoekstra has a good chance in the Super Cup to really do well. He's still growing, and he's still getting better and better and better every time he drives. And yeah, I think Wopke will be a dark horse for the Super Cup title if he just continues to improve himself, and then he can go very, very far. And then the Super League, looking at that, of course, I've got my own team in there, and in front, yeah, really impressed me, of course, as well. But yeah, you've got I think Alex Cooper and Gergo Baldi. Those two impressed as well, and it's difficult to say what will happen, but yeah, I think Gergo looks really good with the car. So I would say Gergo is can be very fast as well.
Yep, some very good picks there in Gergo Baldi, Wupke Hoekstra and Maciej Mlynek. And, well, you're a reserve driver in Super League yourself, and I'm sure that you'll be getting involved at some point in the season. But thank you very much for joining us, Menno. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show, and best of luck to you in 2017.
Yeah, thanks. And I will do my best to do well, and we shall see what will happen. And I hope we have a great season in FC.
I'm sure we will. Thanks again, Menno.
Bye bye.
And now, from one Formula Challenge driver, we move to another, and my second guest on the show actually topped the timesheets of the pre-season test that has just been done in Formula Challenge, and it is none other than Poland's Maciej Mlynek.
Hello.
Great to have you with us, Maciej, and of course, well, you are the top of the timesheet in the Formula Challenge pre-season test with Scuderia Basilea, and that has got to give you quite a bit of confidence going into the start of the season.
It definitely gives me a confidence, but I didn't expect to finish on top. Menno Klont was pushing me all the session, but I was lucky enough to finish in front of him. Unfortunately, my teammate wasn't show because he wasn't able to drive this day, but I hope all in all we will be very competitive in this season.
Yeah, of course, Mike Quint, your teammate in this season, the Dutchman who came in at the end of the last year and really started to show his stuff by the end of it, and started out in the Open Series before being promoted into Formula Challenge. So a very strong lineup in you and Mike Basilea have this year. Do you think this year could be the year that Scuderia Basilea go back into Supercup? Because you and Mike seem like a very strong lineup.
I hope they will go back to Supercup, because I feel that me and Mike can score enough points to score the championship in both categories, but I don't wanna to show higher expectations. Just I don't wanna put pressure on me, Mike, and all team.
Yeah, of course, pressure's not a good thing to have. Sometimes it can. Some people thrive under pressure. Some people don't do as well under pressure. Obviously, there is quite a bit of pressure on you, I think. You know, as you've just said, maybe perhaps to do well this season, to get Scuderia Basilea back up to the Super Cup. But do you think there's any pressure on you?
I don't think so. I'm trying not to bring any pressure to me, because in earlier years I was challenging, I was fighting for title in other leagues, and I was managing to climb it. So I think I am experienced enough in this category, let's say.
Yeah, and well, Formula cars aren't the easiest things to master, but you know, if you've got the confidence, you're not really feeling the pressure, that can sometimes be a winning formula. And well, in terms of individual performances, of course, you're working as a team with Mike, but you will be looking possibly towards a higher position in the Drivers' Championship, given that you did so well in the pre-season test. So what do you think your personal goals for this season in Formula Challenge?
Like it is posted on the news from Scuderia Basilea, my target is top 5 in drivers, just not to put pressure on me. That's why I said top 5. But I think I can do better than top 5.
Yeah, top 5 is a reasonable goal. I mean, considering you were top of the timesheets, but obviously you always want to aim higher than that anyway. And well, there's a lot of competition in Formula Challenge this year as well. So who do you see as possibly being your main rival?
I don't know who can be my main rival. I think just beginning of the season shows.
Yeah, it is quite close running, isn't it? We've got guys like Menno Klont up there at the top as well, who you were mentioning before, and who we've actually spoken to as part of this show. So, you know, there is a lot of competition in this field. We've got the likes of Johan Lindberg driving for YTF1. We've got Roy Brazil and other drivers as well, just to name a couple. And there is so much more talent this year than, I mean, there's lots of talent every year, but the talent this year, you know, some of it's come up through the Open Series, and that's not here this year. But as someone who, you know, is slightly perhaps newer to GPVWC, you know, it's important we have the new talent in, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And I think that main talents will show in this season, and fight for title will be tight between more than 2 drivers.
Yeah, it could be a very close run championship indeed, and I'm sure that it is going to be a very interesting one to watch. And yeah, so looking forwards outside of Formula Challenge, Maciej, there are other series that we're doing in GPVWC this year, of course. We've got the World GT, which sign-ups have just opened for. So are you looking at adding the Independent Series in 2017, or is your involvement going to be more career ladder focused?
I don't want to now enter any other series, because currently I am doing enough series, so another one will be, I think, just too much for me.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, some drivers like to focus on what they've got rather than, you know, take new challenges on. And I guess for you, just being able to focus on career ladder alongside everything else you're doing means that, you know, you're gonna be able to focus your practice when you do career ladder on the Formula Challenge, which should, in theory, you know, it should prepare you better. Do you think that's the case?
I think yes. I wanna be good prepared for every race in Formula Challenge, and if there will be any need, maybe in Super League also.
Yeah, Super League, of course, the top tier of the ladder, and well, someone as quick as you, I wouldn't imagine that one day. I can imagine one day you will probably be in Super League, you know, and yeah, I mean, the likes of you know, we've got drivers up there like Ascari Canton and Bart DeVos, Ben Horrell, who, you know, I'm sure you can stick with the likes of. Do you think you could probably maybe in a couple of season times, do you think you could be in Super League?
Probably yes, but for now I wanted to stick to lower tier just because I didn't feel ready for the top tier full season.
Yeah, a very rounded decision, I think. You know, very sensible. You know, if you don't think you're ready, there's no point in going up and maybe not having the best season in the world. We saw that from Emmanuel Gagzala in 2014, I believe it was. He went up to Supercup and he struggled a bit because he wasn't quite ready for the switch, but then he did find his feet and get slightly better results in the end. So it can work for some people jumping up, but I guess, you know, in the end, if you feel you're not ready, then that is a fair enough decision. Just one more question for you, Maciej, and it's the same question I asked Menno, and I'll be asking everybody else in the show today. So, looking at the timesheets and all the drivers from all 3 series in the career ladder, in pre-season testing specifically, is there anyone who's really jumped out and impressed you? And it doesn't have to be the fastest driver. It can just be anyone who surprised you. And I'd like you to, if you can, give one name from each series.
I think that in Formula Challenge, one person who surprised me a bit is my Polish friend, Patrick Gerber. He was struggling at the beginning of testing Formula Challenge car, but as the preseason tests show, he was quite competitive. He wasn't so far away from me. Unfortunately, I wasn't looking at any Supercup preseason tests, so I don't want to say anything about it. In Super League, I think Fran Lopez surprised me the most because his times are much better than anyone else, but I know that he's doing his fastest laps on the softest tires. But even though I think he's also surprising me, and I hope he will be fighting for title in this Super League season.
Yeah, that's some very astute decisions there. And yeah, Fran Lopez, one of the more... We know he's a quick driver in Super League, and if he can keep it together this season with the Donis engine, I'm sure that he could challenge for the title. And Patrick Gerber, again, another very, very good choice. And yeah, possibly going to throw a couple of surprises in the works if he keeps this pace up. And yeah, we'll just see how your picks go in the season then. Thank you very much for joining us, Maciej. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.
And my final guest of the show today is none other than last year's Formula Challenge Championship runner-up and this year's Supercup driver, Stephane Rouault.
Hi, Josh. How you doing?
Oh, I'm very well, thank you. And yourself?
Yeah, I'm doing very good, thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to have you on the show, Stephane. So, last year's Formula Challenge runner-up, now moving up into Supercup. It is a big change, isn't it? Going up an entire tier in the career ladder. So, I assume that it's been a very interesting off-season for you.
It certainly has been. The change in the car is massive. I've been obviously working a lot on the car, and it's a big change from last year.
I can imagine it would be. Supercup is a big step up, of course, based on the Formula Renault 3.5, up from a Formula 2 based car. So, big performance gap. What would you say has been, if you could single it out, what has been the biggest difference for you? Was it the downforce, the speed, the power?
Well, the power, it is, if you have a comfortable setup, it's actually easier to drive, but it's harder to go fast. We've had some preseason tests, and the competition was just crazy. The guys are going so fast, and I still have to learn how to go extremely fast over one lap with the car, even though I'm comfortable with it. So the change from last season is that I was comfortable in the car, but I was driving on the edge with a difficult car, and now the car is comfortable, but I cannot find yet the speed that I want.
Yeah, I can imagine, more powerful and grippier cars are easier to drive, but it is hard to extract the speed out of them. But consistency can do when you races sometimes. So as long as you're able to be comfortable on the car, that should serve you well this season. And you did finish 7th in the most recent pre-season test, so I guess you can be quite happy with your pace.
No, I wasn't unhappy. Like I said, I'm learning the car. I'm still learning all the bits and pieces that I can tweak on the setup. And I really like that part. I love to just go out, try some stuff, learn how the car reacts. With my new wheel, I can feel everything that happens within the car. So I really enjoyed that part. I just hope that for the next test I can be a little bit quicker than I was previous test.
Yeah, I'm hoping that you'll find, obviously, full form in the season as well, because you are a fantastic driver to watch when you do do your best out there on track, as evidenced by your wins in Formula Challenge last year. I think you got the most wins out of any driver that season, and somehow you didn't win the championship. So we know you've got pace, but obviously it's bringing it to the Supercup that is the important bit. So do you think as the season goes on you'll get more used to the car?
Yeah, I'm not really sure what the experience is from the other drivers that drove with us the previous test. So I'm not sure what the experience gap is, and I don't know if it matters. But like you said, last season was so much fun, and I had so much fun driving with JJ, who obviously won the championship ahead of me, and who is now my teammate. So it's going to be really interesting this year to see how we can compete each other and how we can maybe push each other to win, or at least try to beat the other guys.
I was about to mention that, actually. You were challenging James Johnson for the most part of last season in Formula Challenge, only just losing the championship to him. Then the announcement came through that you and him were partnering up at Deltec for 2017, so it must be a pretty interesting scenario now, teaming up with the person who you fought over the championship last season.
Yeah. It was, I can imagine it was surprising for some, but we had a good competitive relationship last year. We had a lot of chats, and in the end we just said, okay, if we're going to do this thing, if we're going to go move up the ladder, it would be great if we can do it together, because we know that we both have the proper drive to perform well, and we like to work together and try to achieve that for Deltec. Gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, Deltec has really established itself recently as one of the more emerging teams. Not quite the quickest team on the grid when they started up on the scene a couple of years ago, but they've really matured and grown and managed to get some good signings under the belt. And obviously, as you say, move up into Supercup in the Great Ladder, now hiring you and JJ to race for Deltec in Supercup. So, given the momentum that you've got, surely Super League shouldn't be out of reach in a couple of years' time.
We'll see. Of course, we have Marius, our team manager, who's he's really active in the community, which is great. And he managed to get JJ, of course, which is a great thing. And for now, I think you're talking about Super League. I'm still hoping that we can find the pace to do well here. So let's just see how that goes, because the car is, like I said, really different and in my opinion, more difficult to drive than, at least to go fast, than the Formula Challenge car.
Yeah, keeping your feet well on the ground there, I guess. You know, a very solid strategy. You know, don't focus too far into the future. Keep your eyes on the present. It's a winning strategy, I think. You know, not focusing too far on the future. Just keeping your eyes where they need to be, which is on the present and on Supercup. So, yeah, you've got a great team around you. You've got a great car around you. And, you know, you're well grounded in the present. You know, where do you think you're going to finish this season then? Because obviously you want to challenge for some of the top positions, but as you say, you're learning the car. So what are your personal goals for the season ahead?
I think to start the season with a couple of top 5 finishes would be great. But I'm a really competitive person, and if I don't finish on the podium, you know, within the first half of the season, I would be quite disappointed, and I'm gonna do everything I can to achieve that goal.
So podium in the first half of the season is your main target then, but yeah, is there any other targets? Like, if you're looking into the other half of the season, you mentioned you want a podium within the first half. Do you think maybe even getting used to the car, a race win or 2 might be on the cards by season's end?
Yeah, definitely. I hope I can start winning from the second half of the season onwards, and then see what happens from then on. Maybe do another year of SC, but I really don't want to look that far into the future just yet. I hope I can enjoy this season with Super Cup like I enjoyed last season with Formula Challenge. From what I've seen from the pre-season test, the competition is very good. All very skilled drivers. It's going to be very close, I think, in the top 10, maybe top 15 even. So I'm really, really looking forward to that part.
Yeah, last year's Supercup season was an absolute thriller, and I'm sure this year's is going to be no different. It's going to be a fantastic season with fantastic drivers like yourself, like James Johnson, and the entirety of the Supercup field, because we have a very competitive field this season indeed. I just do have one more question for you, Stephane, and it's the same question I asked Menno and Maciej before, and I'll ask you now. Looking throughout the entirety of pre-season testing, now it is complete, are there any drivers who have really impressed you? And I would like you to name one, if you can, from Formula Challenge, Supercup and Super League.
Wow. So from some Supercup, just to start with the easy one, Alex Siebel has majorly impressed me. I from this point on, I don't know where he finds the speed. So I'm gonna definitely study those laps. And then Formula Challenge, it's got to be Johan Lindberg. He was driving with us last season already, and he impressed me and JJ on his hot lap speed. He joined Deltec team recently, and he's going to train with us. And I think he's going to do really well this year in Formula Challenge. And then Super League, it's no, sorry, I can't give you a name.
Oh, well, fair enough. It is a very tough question indeed. And still, Johan Lindberg in Formula Challenge driving for YTF1, a very good pick. You know, he did get a win last year as well, so has proven his credentials. And, of course, Alex Siebel in Super Cup. Definitely want to watch out the Germans. So, some very, very good picks there. Thank you very much for joining us in this episode of Anderson's Access. Stephane, it's been a pleasure to have you with us.
Thanks a lot for inviting me. Thanks a lot. And, well, you're doing a really great job doing this. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephane. It is a pleasure to talk to you and a pleasure to host this show as well. And that does round out this episode of Anderson's Access. And be sure to check out the podcast next month as well, when Career Ladder will be in full swing, and I'll be talking to the people who are involved directly in that. We have the first Formula Challenge race coming up in just 7 days' time. It's first Formula Challenge event, and we have obviously Super Cup and Super League after that. But until next month, I've been Josh Renanson, and I would like to wish you all a very warm goodbye.